Hey everyone, it is Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit 1991's Point Break, starring Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves. So grab your nearest surfboard, dust it off, meet me at the beach, and listen in.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
This is Christina.
And today we are talking about Point Break, the 1991 Catherine Bigelow directed action movie.
Yes.
Christina.
Before I begin, I have to just say, I'm just going to say, I think it's funny that every time we play that music, we're still, bebopping around. We still, it's just funny to me. I don't know if you guys do it at home. Sorry, you had a question for me, Brian? You were just about to ask me a question.
Oh, yeah. So, 1991, I want to know the first, as we always do.
Blank.
As we always do, we talk about then. So, I want to hear the first time you saw this movie and your feelings about it then.
So, I saw this in the movies. I was a big fan of Patrick Swayze, so it was one of those things. If he was in a movie, I'm seeing it. And it was such a different role for him. I remember just seeing a picture of him, all blonde and, surfy, and it was just, so strange but intriguing. So, I saw it in the movies. I don't remember who I was with. I remembered not loving it.
Interesting.
I liked it. I mean, there's certain parts of it I liked. It was definitely a lot of action. It was not boring, but there were some challenges to it that I remember, the acting not being great. And I remember it being kind of all over the place, too.
Okay.
So I did like it because I really liked Patrick Swayze in it. And I liked Keanu Reeves as an actor. I didn't necessarily love him in this role.
Okay.
But yeah, I liked it enough. I might have seen it one other time since then. But I don't think I've seen it on many other times after that.
Interesting.
And that was quite a while ago. It was 1991.
Yeah.
So
it's funny to think that this is only 5 years after Youngblood.
That is weird, isn't it?
Especially with Keanu Reeves. And he is a full-fledged movie star in 91. I was like, wow, he just looks so different. I mean, it's very formative years.
Acts different.
Because you think he is...
He looks... Yeah, you're right.
Because I think he is 24. He says he's 24 in this. I think he is 24 at the filming of this. I think.
It would make sense.
Yeah,
he started pretty young in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill and Ted. When was that?
Parenthood. Young Blood, 86 was his first movie. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Bill and Ted was not long after that. So, crazy. Meteoric rise to stardom, as they say.
Right.
So, yeah, interesting. So, you weren't really a big fan of this.
No, it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, all over the place.
A little over the place. Yeah, it wasn't... I truly just watched it, because of Patrick Swayze.
Okay.
So, honestly, it wasn't really my type of movie to begin with. It was fine. It was fine. Not love, not hate. Mm-hmm. What about you, Brian?
Okay, so I think I did see this in the movie theater.
Maybe we
I think I
together.
did. No, 91 we didn't.
I know, I'm just kidding.
But I think I did see it in the movie theater. I don't know why I think that, but I do. And it is not my kind of movie at all. And I remember loving it.
Really?
And I don't know why, because it's not my thing. Surfing, bank robbers, action. It wasn't my thing. I think what drew me in, was Keanu Reeves, because he's first of all gorgeous in this, but the other thing is he's this. He's the new recruit. He's this, just this guy who is, brought into this crazy world that he's not familiar with. So it was good because I didn't know that world either. You're kind of seeing it through his eyes.
Sure.
He has a lot of animosity at the police force. You get the sense this isn't really who he is on either level. Like,
sure.
you know, you're almost like learning through him. In 91, I was 18, 19. So it was like just interesting to watch like a different world.
Well, you
like
could probably
that.
relate a lot to him because he's, you know, sort of doing something new. And I mean, 18, 19, that's all about doing
like,
new
what are you
things
do with
and
the rest
trying to
of your
figure out
life?
figure out who you are and all that. Totally relatable.
But the big thing was also too is like there was a woman directing an action movie, and that was something like different. Like, how would this, you know, be in look? And I really did love this movie, and I do think I saw it when it came on VHS. I think it was one of those. In fact, I was shocked. I said to Carl, I was like, I don't have this movie on DVD. I was going through all my DVDs, and I'm like, because I was like, oh, please, I'll just pop it in. Mm-hmm. I didn't have it.
You probably had it on VHS.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened, but I thought I had it on DVD. But to all that to say, I've seen this movie a few times. Had not seen it in probably how old is this? 20 years, I would say, I guess. So yes, this is 91, which makes it 30 years old this year.
Wow.
The 30th anniversary of Point Break. So,
and this is our 4th Patrick Swayze movie that we revisited.
Dirty Dancing, Tu Wong Fu, Youngblood.
Yeah.
And this. Wow.
Isn't that funny? He's
just amazing.
He is amazing.
And we'll get into that.
There's a reason why I loved him.
So that was then. Again, I just really loved it. I have to be honest, didn't leave the theater or any viewing of this going, wow, what great acting.
Yes.
Certainly not.
Certainly
but
not.
Just to be like, just to have that. It was such an exciting movie. Those foot chases, I remember them vividly.
Non-stop action.
I remember. I will never forget the scene of Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers shooting his own foot.
Oh God!
Like that moment. There are a lot of like really memorable setups,
surprising things. I agree 100%.
So let's dive in, and Christina, take it away.
So now, this was one of the movies I was really looking forward to seeing because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I just was kind of curious if my memory held true. And to be honest, I forgot a lot about this movie, so that was nice. I love when that happens, and I'm revisiting a movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I love that. I remembered the bad dialogue. A lot of the bad dialogue. So I'm not sure what is happening with whoever was writing these words on paper, but
let it rip, girl.
Oh God! So
I have some lines.
Okay. Do you have the? I'm just gonna say it.
Young,
dumb, and full of cum. That's it. That's what it. Somebody said that.
It's a classic.
I'm like, what? Like someone wrote that down and decided it was okay to say that. Then I just wrote ew after that. Ew.
But also, what does that have to do with the price of peanuts?
It has nothing to do with anything.
It's his first day at work. This place doesn't have an HR department.
Right.
Like, I walk into a new job and someone's like, what are you, just young, dumb, and full of cum? I'm like, oh, I'm calling HR right now. You are not.
You will not be speaking
to me that way.
So, yeah, I mean, it was really bad. Like a virgin on prom night, they disappear.
Oh my God. I missed that one.
Lots of
hot shot.
Lots of just really cliche. I wrote down every line is a cliche or a snide joke.
Oh,
every line.
Cliches all across the board. Mostly, I'll be honest. Mostly the first 30-ish minutes. Mm-hmm. I think it calmed down.
It does calm down. You're right. Yeah. It does calm down a little bit.
However, holy shit! Every time, hey, hot shot. First of all, Keanu Reeves, his character is not a hot shot. That's what makes no sense. He is
young.
Trying. Right. He's young.
Or maybe he's dumb.
And
but
maybe But the thing is, all he's trying to do is a good job.
Right.
Appreciate it. It could be a lot worse, like all the other jackasses on the department.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and they were the dumbest.
Oh my God. And how about we don't smoke, we don't drink, we don't... Every other time they turn around, they're all smoking.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is this? Is this a joke? Is the joke on the sergeant or whatever? The sergeant? One of the worst performances I've ever seen.
Terrible.
I'm not even going to say the actor's name because I don't want to hurt his feelings. But holy shit. He's at an 11 the entire time. We need him at like a 4. Like, be a little menacing, be a little of a threat. You're just a blowhard. It's like, there's more yelling.
Yeah.
How about this one? I swear to God, these are lines he said. He's basically, something had happened. It was the very first sort of thing where they I guess infiltrate, like they find a car or something, or I don't know.
Is it a gas station?
It's a gas station, but something happens. And whatever it is, nothing really works out. It doesn't work out. And the sergeant says, "You did this. You did that." He's yelling at the top of his lungs. Oh my God.
Of course, that's all he did.
Like, giving me a headache. And he goes, "And what is it? You produce squat." Ready? I'm not done. Oh. "You produce squat." Dramatic pause. "Squat!"
God.
My God. Squat. It's like, ooh, Mr. Tough Guy.
He's I mean, please.
Yeah,
it's not like it's a PG movie. Like, let her rip.
I know.
Let her rip.
I wrote a bit aggressive. The other thing is, the Keanu and, oh my God, Keanu Reeves has some real tough dialogue in the beginning. When he's yelling at Gary Busey, and he's like, I'm trying to remember the scene, Christine, I can't remember. But it's like, they did something, and it didn't work out. And, and he's saying to Gary Busey, like, "How did it make you feel? You feel alive, right? You're not in the box yet.
Are you mad? Feels good, right? Let's go nail these sons of bitches."
He's like, "I have a theory." And Gary Busey is good in this.
Yeah, he's actually not bad.
Him.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember liking him, and I agree.
Expression, he rode the waves of bad dialogue much better than some of the other actors.
Well, it was a little bit more believable, the bad dialogue is coming from him.
Yeah.
Because he is sort of like this
rough
older guy, like, you know.
He's exhausted, he's rough.
Yeah, he's tired. And
he's not thinking up new catchphrases at this point.
No, he's just using the same stuff he's been talking about for years. But no, I liked him. He was one of the ones that I actually enjoyed in terms of his acting, and I liked Patrick Swayze's acting actually. Keanu, I could not. I really
some rough moments.
Yeah, it was a little hard.
Yeah.
Watching my friend Keanu.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice watching him.
I
guess listening to him was where the problem.
Carl and I were talking about it, and he is so gorgeous in this movie. I mean, he just really is. But there's something interesting. Like, he more so than any other movie I've ever seen him in. Because I'm being honest, I'm being honest. I don't genuinely find him, like, attractive. Like, if I'm naming my top 5 gorgeous, whatever, celebrities, he's not in there. And he's probably not even my top 20, to be honest. But in this movie, it's just like that movie star so good. And I think, Carl and I were talking, it's like, it's funny because he actually looks quite androgynous. And I don't think, when I think of Keanu Reeves, I don't think like, oh, he's an androgynous looking actor.
Right.
But in this movie, I think he really, and it's a funny thing because it's such a testosterone-y, like, like masculine role. And yet he looks a bit androgynous to me.
Well, maybe it's because he's next to all these other manly men. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he's very pretty. He is pretty in this.
He's a very pretty,
He is a very pretty man.
Yeah.
I just wrote so much hostility with the surfers. Like, I mean, the dialogue again. "Stay off my wave! You dinged my board!" And then another one. "Go back to the valley, man." God, who writes the stuff?
It's so bad. It's really so bad. I liked Lori Petty in it. I thought she was good. I forgot she was in it.
Yeah. Do you like her? Like, do you genuinely like her?
I do actually like her. Okay. Yeah, I do actually like her.
Isn't that so funny? I was wondering about you when I was watching this. Because my biggest, like, negative the first couple times I saw this movie was her.
Interesting.
I found that she was, I feel like she wouldn't be, as popular among this crowd. Like when, like, she's Patrick Swayze's sort of like side piece,
right?
And everyone likes her, and she's like, you know, popular and well liked and respected. I just don't know if I bought it. I find her a little grating. This time around, I appreciated her more. I actually think she's more attractive than I remembered. And, like, she has very blue eyes and the black hair. And she seems very comfortable in this world.
I think that's what it is. You get the sense that she's grown up in this world. And I think that's why I sort of bought that she was one of the group. Because it was more like, you know, like the kid's sister, whatever. I mean, I know she was Patrick Swayze's girlfriend or whatever it was. Because he does say, make yourself at home. What's mine is yours. And it kind of feels like he's referring to her. Tyler, right? Yeah. Tyler or Taylor? Tyler. But I thought that her character was pretty believable. She's tough. She's, you can tell she hangs out with the guys, so she's like tough. And I did think that she softened to Johnny Utah a bit quick.
But we know why.
Because he was so gross and said that his parents had been killed in a car accident to appeal to her softer side. Because her parents were killed. Yes, of course, yes. Yeah. But I still think it, even with that connection, I think that her personality may not have been so readily available.
I bought it.
But I know you need to do that.
He's handsome. Like, you're young. It's an endless summer, if you will. It is surfing. It's that world. She, her only suspicion of him is that he sucked surfing. So now it's like, he's like, wow, he's like really not letting up. And he's a hot guy who's interested in me. And then he says the dead parents thing. I would imagine that's a pretty unique situation.
True.
Your parents died, her parents died in a plane crash. His parents allegedly died, which is a lie, in a car crash. So I believed it. I bought into that. Because at the same time, she's still tough. I mean, she softens for him.
Yes. Yes. On that same line there, one thing that kind of drove me a little crazy is he was famous. He was famous in this world as a football player.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, not major league, maybe minor league or college or something.
College ball.
But people knew who he was.
Yeah.
I would imagine it'd be maybe not 91, but somewhat easy to figure out his background.
So that's another negative for me. And all the other thing is, oh my God, my brain. Jesus, what is going on with my brain?
I wish I knew.
The other thing was, it was right along those same lines. It was a Charlie's Angels moment. That's what I was going to say. Because when he is asked who he is, he's undercover.
Yeah.
And he just tells him who he is.
Johnny Utah.
It's a great cover. You used your real name. And I mean, not necessarily people aren't Googling people on 91. But to your point, I would imagine it's like if they already know he's the football guy, it can't be that difficult to do a little research on what he's about. And also, the big thing for me, I'm studying law now.
And I'm studying law now.
And why not bring this guy who's studying law into this crazy world of there's drugs and guns everywhere. And you are a bank robber and you're befriending a guy who specializes in law.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you?
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that made me feel a little bit like, okay, I'll buy it, is because their whole life is risk-taking.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of got that feeling that Bodie, who's Patrick Swayze's character, kind of took it as a challenge in a way. Like, oh, that's fine. I'll befriend him. Even after he knew who he was further down the line, when they knew each other he's still like, come on.
Yeah.
Come with me. Like, he's not afraid. He's doing, like, he's taking those risks because that's how he gets his high.
100% pure adrenaline. He said that.
I know. That was like a famous line.
Yeah, that was on the movie poster. Bodie, played by Patrick Swayze, you lose yourself to find yourself. Or you lose yourself, you find yourself. It definitely had a Dirty Dancing feel.
Yeah.
Where he says you have to feel the music. It's like that same kind of thing.
Feel the waves.
I did laugh when Lori Petty at the party said, too much testosterone here. I loved that.
Yeah.
It was like, that needed to be said.
Yeah.
The party just seemed like the most very unfun thing I could imagine in any social circle. I just wrote when do the Lost Boys show up? It just had that that California, but the unpleasant underbelly where really they're having a social gathering. It's so unfun.
Yeah.
And dark and gloomy. And if they're all on drugs or if they're all wasted or high or whatever that high is, wouldn't it be a little more fun? I don't know.
You would think.
It was just a downer.
We're on the beach.
It's like, this is a party, for God's sake. Yeah.
They don't know how to have fun.
I did laugh when the guy, to start the fire, the bonfire or whatever it was, he cuts open a lighter fluid bottle with a knife to split it open and set it on fire. But what's funny is, like, I don't know how many takes this took, but he, like, if you look closely, he's getting lighter fluid all over his hand, all over his sleeve. I just thought that was kind of funny. Like,
again,
not
very risky.
Very risky. Not
very
quite
risky.
as badass.
It's funny. I actually, I have a note about the captain. Just says Captain over the top. And then it was like, this is the FBI. So at one point he's, why haven't you caught them yet? Again, screaming, right? I think he was undercover for like a day. And I'm like, this is the FBI. Doesn't he realize it takes a little time?
Aren't they still looking into, like, John Benet Ramsey?
Right?
Things take time.
Things take time. Nobody
this
expects
is the worst
anything to be
sergeant.
The whole department sucks.
They suck. They're complaining,
whole
like,
department sucks.
They're groaning. Like, they're showing up to do, like, an overnight stakeout. And they're showing up, like, sandwiches and stuff. It's like, but they're complaining. It's like, you're being paid, like, overtime to sit in a car. Shut up.
Everybody needs to relax there. Yeah. Everybody needs to relax. Even even Johnny Utah, and what's his face?
Gary Busey.
They're the worst. They're supposed to be scoping out the bank.
That was so dumb.
This was the worst. Like, again, dumb. They're in the car, scoping out their one job is to look at the bank.
Yep.
So what do? Oh, Gary wants a sandwich, or Johnny wants a sandwich. So he goes to get the sandwich. Mm-hmm. Gary is reading the newspaper. Mm-hmm. Johnny's ordering the sandwiches. And behind them, not, 50 feet away, here come the bank robbers in their masks running in. Are you kidding me? You have one fucking job.
Here's why I was like, this is bullshit, because even if you accept it, like, they were just so hungry they couldn't wait another minute, Johnny Utah would have seen the reflection in the station, because he's at the food stand and there's that plastic divider. He would have seen the car pull up in the rear view.
Yeah.
He absolutely would have seen the reflection of the car.
It's just dumb. It's all dumb. 100% so dumb.
It was to set up the big crazy car chase.
Yes. Yep. And then they have the big car chase. I'm like, all of them. I'm not even looking at my notes, really. I'm looking, but I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. I'm trying to remember. So then they chase him, right? Or, Johnny Utah is chasing them, right? Mm-hmm. Trying to get to them. So his cover is blown.
I know.
His cover is blown. He should know his cover is blown.
Right.
Regardless of who these surfers end up being.
Right.
They're surfers.
Yeah.
And they saw him.
Mm-hmm.
It is the dumbest thing.
I know.
I just don't understand who's doing this writing.
This is what I'm saying. Like, it reminded me of Charlie's Angels. Like,
yes.
How they never were ever in disguise. And if someone was like, "Hi, what's your name?" Jill Monroe. It's like, wait, what are you doing? It's like, you're supposed to be undercover. Like, to me, undercover means undercover.
Yeah.
You
and
lie.
Especially someone like, the Charlie's Angels, especially, when they solve a case, I'm assuming they published that amazing case they solved in the newspaper somewhere, right? And there's a picture, maybe? I don't know.
How does that work nowadays? I know. It's so strange.
It is so strange.
It must be hard
it
to
is
be
so
a
strange.
private agent or whatever. But that's so funny. And I had that same note, Christina. Like, he's running full view, like, the whole thing. And, And then they set the car on fire, and there's the foot chase, right? He's chasing.
And then they have the fire hose.
Yeah. Crazy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, there were moments, I think the foot chases, that big foot chase through the homes and
yes,
is done so well. And actually, one of the few stunts Patrick Swayze didn't do.
Oh, yes, yeah. I heard that he did most of the stunts.
He was doing promo for Ghost in Europe, and he wasn't there, and he wanted to do it, but he couldn't. And but I think that might be like there's so many good action moments in this that are ridiculous, but you just go with it because it's action. But
don't you think did it remind you of like Ferris Bueller during that scene?
Christina, yes. The part where they hop the fence.
They hop the fence and they walk through the yard. Reminded me so much of Ferris Bueller. And did I read this correctly that Matthew Broderick was actually up for the role
of Johnny Utah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did write that. So I thought that was really funny.
Well, it was also earlier though. So this was when the Matthew Broderick stuff was happening. I think it was closer to Ferris Bueller, not 91. So like that's why they recast with Keanu.
I see. Yeah. I see. A couple of, unfortunately, I have a lot of negatives here.
Really?
I have some positives.
I'm honest, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either, but I did have a lot of negatives. I did think it was a lot of nitpicky stuff. Like he's been surfing for 2 weeks, and they want him to like surf the big waves or whatever. And someone says, "I don't think he's ready for this." I'm like, "Yeah, he's been surfing for 2 weeks. No, he's not ready for it."
They also want him to surf in the dark.
In the dark, it was like this crazy like dangerous situation, and then it seemed funny that he was never really like sore after all of this training.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
I wrote, Johnny gets beat up, punched in the stomach 16 times, kicked in the head, smashed up against walls, wiped out on surfboards, punched in the face. He is always completely fine after, other than scratches.
Sure.
I don't think there were bruises on him other than cuts on his face and I think that's only from the dog when the dog at him.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But we never even see him like popping like ibuprofen. Like he's never even taking like pain relief. Like it's like he's never is putting ice on anything. Like the only real pain is the knee thing.
But
it's like you'd be a little winded. If
I tried learning how to surf for 1 day, I would not be able to walk for a week.
And the whole thing is like, yes, he was a football player. But that scene where the 3 guys approach him on the beach and just start wailing on him. They punched him in the stomach at least 15 times. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, standing and, hey, thanks, man. Thanks for helping me out. It's like, I don't know if could move the next day. I don't know if I would not be in the hospital after that.
Truly.
Yeah.
Truly.
General note, this movie is very loud. I consistently found myself lowering the volume. Mm-hmm. It just is a very loud, hostile movie that is a middle-aged lens, for sure. But it was just like...
Imagine the movie theater, how loud it was, right? God,
yeah. Maybe it just made it more exciting.
Yeah.
And I wrote, Tyler is loud at times. Mm-hmm. And there's the scene where it's all out in the open, and... I wonder if you had the same flashback when she's like, "Liar! Liar! Liar!" And like, oh my God, it's Carol Kane from The Princess Bride. She's like, "Just tell me if did your parents really die?" He's like, "My parents are alive and well." And it's like, oh my God, dude. Like, you have no...
No, we don't do that. She had a gun on him.
A gun.
She had a gun on him. He's being all...
Yeah.
And she's naked during this whole thing. Like,
she has a shirt on.
Yeah, she had a shirt on.
He's naked. You see his butt. He like goes to jump after her, but his leg still hurts, or his knee still hurts, so he falls down. And but yeah. But that's when Bodhi came to grab him too, right? That's right. He does still limp. To Keanu Reeves' performance credit, he does still limp.
Yes. So, in regards to the hearing part, the loudness, I did have a note that they're chatting in the middle of all these waves. They're like talking to each other. I'm like, how can they hear each other?
Oh,
did you have that note too?
Yeah.
You gotta make it a little realistic, people. Come on. Come on.
I did write, and you've made this note before, Patrick Swayze is so natural in this. I believe, I wrote down, this is a few days ago, I believe every word, which is helpful since little of it makes sense. Mm-hmm. He has some real doozies. His argument about, like, sort of life is, like, his goal is, quote, to break away from the people moving in tin cars on the highway.
Is it tin cars or tin coffee?
Tin cans! Tin cans!
Oh, tin cans.
Tin cans. Sorry, I didn't remember it. Tin cans on the highway. I'm like, that's just called life, bitch.
Yeah,
like,
it's life.
It's called cars. It's like, you have to if you have to get somewhere, you're probably taking a car. Good luck getting your surfboard across town.
Right?
Come on.
Let's just ride the waves to the store.
Also, they're driving everywhere. They're driving from their...
They are driving
They're driving
everywhere.
to their bank robberies.
And they're in a tin can in the sky. When they
They're
surfboard.
driving... There's a problem with your philosophy, Bodhi.
Yeah.
You're driving a car every day anyway.
Yep. Should we talk about that raid?
This is the one with the naked woman.
I wrote down crazy naked woman.
I loved that, though.
She was crazy.
Crazy. Beating the shit out of Keanu Reeves, but he was fine after. So.
He's always fine. This was it was complete chaos.
Yeah.
And so violent. That's one thing I forgot about this movie. I did not remember how much violence was in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I remember having a lot of action.
Mm-hmm.
I did not remember how much violence was in it. I mean, these guys were being blown away.
Yeah.
Almost chopped up by a lawnmower.
I know, yeah.
His foot is being blown off.
Yeah.
It was really crazy violence.
But, you know, it's so weird, because I tend to be like, I don't like gratuitousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is shot so fast and edited so chaotic, like you were saying, it didn't bother me as much.
Interesting.
Like, it's all very, like, MTV, fast, music video, choppy, and I liked it. I thought it was great when that woman was beating Keanu up, jumping out of the shower. Well, first of all, it's a little weird because she screams for a very long time, but it's like, girl, if you can fight like that, why did you scream?
Right.
And then... also, just like all like the gunshots and the jumping and the flying and this and that, and like Anthony Kiedis shooting himself in the foot.
Oh my!
I mean, it is a lot. It's very bloody and all that, but it's shot so quick it didn't faze me. On, like,
I think it was mostly
level.
surprising to me because I forgot about it. I think that was more or less what I was thinking. Like, wow, I don't remember all of this violence. And I don't tend to watch movies that are violent like that anyway, so it's still like, whoa. And it looked pretty real.
Oh, no, it did. It really did.
I mean,
I agree with that.
It was very bloody, really gross.
When she kicks him in the head, when that naked woman kicks Keanu in the head, I don't know how you fake that, other than with a stunt double, but you're still getting kicked in the head. Mm-hmm. I mean, that looked like one of the roughest kicks or... whatever, violence in this movie. Yeah.
I don't understand why he doesn't want to blow his cover.
Yeah.
So he's not supposed to be going in there, in the house. Like, they talk about this. We don't want you to blow your cover.
Yeah.
Why is he even at the raid? Why is he even there? Someone's going to see him, even if he didn't go in the house.
Well, I think because he had that earpiece, and I think ultimately it's like his operation. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's quote unquote responsible at 24 for all of these men in this house and in this sting, whatever they call it. But I think he had to be there to manage. But the problem was the lawnmower. He couldn't hear, so he jumps in to make sure people are okay or to help. But he also knows that Gary Busey... we saw the crazy gun, the machine gun the guy had. And he's like, oh shit, we're a little outnumbered here. Let me help. But there you go. But I mean,
it's still just weird. Like, if you're undercover, you don't want to blow... I mean, that's rule number 1. Don't show up at the stupid raid.
I know.
I mean, that's just crazy. There's enough stupid cops around to do your job. And that's where the... Was that where the foot... I think that's when the foot chase happened. Oh, maybe not.
No. So that had
actually
truly nothing to do with the movie, with the plot. That was to show like they fucked up because it was what he ended up ruining was a much bigger drug bust that was going to happen. So now they're all exposed and they can't catch the big guy because that was going to be the next day or whatever. So they're in trouble, leading to more yelling by the sergeant.
He loves yelling.
And then, to be honest, I don't have too many notes, but it's like, I loved the skydiving.
The skydiving was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely beautiful.
I liked, and that's very different than the rest of the movie, it really took its time. The descent.
Did.
I would actually argue the they showed. I felt like they showed the whole thing.
They did. I think they did too.
Yeah.
And it started in the plane even.
Right. Yeah.
But they jump out, and it's gorgeous, and the music is beautiful, and it's a nice break from everything.
I completely agree. And what it also establishes is like, and it's very symbolic, but it works, where they're forming this like chain of holding hands, and they're like, "Come on, Johnny, come on," and Johnny was like into it, and he's holding hands, and it's like. And suddenly it was like he gets it, and I think it was like an interesting way to share that detail. I liked all of that.
I really loved that. Yeah, that was definitely one of my bigger positives for sure.
Another one of Bodhi's things, but I find this to be true, is you project strength to avoid conflict, and I think that's so true. If like I mean, I think I've been in like 3 fist fights in my life. And I think that might surprise people because I'm very like mouthy. But I think if you project like confidence and a smart ass mouth, I think you can. I think you sort of prevent the rest.
That's
of
how
it.
you prevent it. Exactly.
So I'm Bodhi. Basically, is my point.
Moving on. We did skydive together, though.
Oh my god, I know!
Did it bring back memories watching that?
A little bit in the plane.
Yes.
A little bit in that moment of like...
That moment of stepping out. Yeah. Remember that? Being like just having to take that first step.
But when we did... So how long ago was that? Oh my god.
That's a revisit.
That is a revisit. That was a long time ago. But,
we'll revisit our...
But we did tandem skydiving. We have the Adventures on VHS.
That's right.
And what I remember most was like... Well, I remember it very vividly. But like, I remember wanting to jump out. I knew that jumping out would be the worst of it. And when we were ready, I bolted across that little tiny tin can plane and like went on the way. And the guy was like, okay. Like, because I was ready. I was too ready. Because like this is gonna be the worst of it. This is the worst of it. Because once you jump. I mean, it's all done.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
I'll have to do that again someday.
Do you remember when we were with Lauren, and I think Lauren was like considering like doing it, like being like a trainer and getting certified?
I think she was talking to some of the people, and
it's exciting. I think one bit of trivia. I found conflicting info on this, but it sounds like Patrick Swayze did all of his own skydiving stuff, except maybe one move. But he allegedly jumped 55 times.
I read that
you read that too. Okay.
Yes. Was it 55?
That's what I wrote down 55. But it was like...
Probably. I didn't write it down. Yeah. It sounds right, though. It sounds right.
And I don't think that necessarily... to be clear, I don't think necessarily that was for the movie, but I think it was to look good in the movie. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it was all for filming, but it was like... But he did it for the film, but I think in the interim did it a lot to look maybe more natural.
Yes, I think so. And he did the surfing. He broke some ribs.
4
ribs.
Yeah.
While doing
surfing. That. And also he took, which must have been easy for him because I know he's a dancer, but he took like aerial ballet classes for that little solo.
That's the thing. With Patrick Swayze was a serious actor.
Yeah.
He knew his stuff. Yes. He took it very seriously. He always gave it 1,000%, and you could tell because he was great in almost everything he's done.
And if he didn't know it, he learned it.
That's right.
He didn't call in a stunt double. He did it.
That's right. And has he ever been in a movie with an accent? I bet he would have nailed it if he was.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember him ever having an accent in a movie.
No. I mean, you think about his movies. I mean, they're all so memorable, and his characters are always so like iconic. Like, it's
very true.
I mean, even Donnie Darko, he picked a lot of good stuff. Even Roadhouse, which I couldn't even get through when it came out on VHS. But like, even Roadhouse is like, people still talk about that movie and like the symbolism and his performance in that. He just made a lot of smart, like iconic feeling like choices.
100%. And thinking about it too, I think about a lot of these movies that he's in, and I sometimes imagine if it wasn't Patrick Swayze in that role, if it would be as good. And I think 9 times out of 10, it wouldn't be as successful if it wasn't Patrick Swayze in that particular role.
I agree. 100%. And when we talked about Youngblood, I said this and I'll say it again. I feel like he was so different because like, I feel like I'm watching a man.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, like, look at
Keep talking.
No, what I mean by that is, like, look at the Ben Afflecks, the Matt Damons, the Leonardo DiCaprios. Like, they're, like, I don't want to say pretty boys, but they're just, like, they, like, often, like, they have roles where they, like, cry, and they're, like, and, like, Patrick Swayze shows a sensitive side. And in Ghost, he does cry and all of that. But you still feel like you're watching, like, a man.
Yes.
Like, and I find that that's pretty rare.
I think so too.
I don't know. I just think he was always so good.
Do you want to take a little break?
Yes, sure.
All right, let's take a little break. We'll be right back. I have a couple more notes, and we'll do some questions and some trivia.
Cool.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back. We're talking about Point Break with two very handsome male leads. My favorite kind of revisit.
Well, not with them, but a movie about them.
Oh, Brian.
Well, no,
You exhaust me.
Well, also Patrick Swayze.
Patrick, don't you agree?
Christina, too soon.
Oh, I wasn't
God,
even thinking about that.
You forgot he died?
No, of course I didn't forget, but I was just trying to make a little joke, and now you made me feel sad. So
good.
Thanks for that. So, what do you have? Any more notes? What are you thinking about the ending?
I do have notes. So, this is not my kind of movie, and yet I loved It Is Warm in Here. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So I loved that final bank heist because of the addition of the undercover cop. I thought that was such an interesting twist.
Such a good twist.
And the fact that he was effective.
Yes.
Because a lot of movies, we've seen this shit before, where there's like, oh, thank God. And it's like, ping, and he's dead in 5 seconds.
Right.
That didn't happen. He took people down. He was a fighter. He was still pushing and fighting.
He was the best cop in that whole entire movie of cops. This guy is the one I want in my district.
I mean, he dies.
He did die.
But it was like, what a smart little twist in this
great
kind of bank scene we've seen in this movie twice already. So
yeah,
I liked that
great.
addition.
And I loved how he was asking the security guard for his gun, and the security guard's like, he wants nothing to do with this. He's like, no, this isn't going to go well. But that was great. I loved that twist.
So, and we were talking about this earlier. This movie is long. It's like over 2 hours, and so that happens towards the end, as does. Oh my God. I actually said, oh my God, when I had been drinking. But in my defense, I had been drinking. But I had like 3 beers. Johnny jumps out of the plane without a parachute. Yes. I forgot. I remember when they pulled the chute very late. I remember that scene, but I didn't remember he jumped out without a parachute and like flew like through the air on top of Patrick Swayze's character. That was amazing. That was
awesome.
Amazing.
I loved all of the skydiving things. Everything that has to do with skydiving, I loved. Everything that had to do with the surfing, I really loved too. We didn't talk about that, but I thought the surfing was shot so beautifully.
Yep.
It really was so cool. So much so that I rewound it and I let Emily watch the surfing parts. Yeah. And I said, Emily, look at how beautiful this is. There's something about the music and the cinematography and just... It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful the way they did both of those things.
I will say one thing that doesn't quite work on a TV screen is that you can see it's not Patrick Swayze. I mean, I think it's very clear to me.
Yes.
Like, wait. I'm sorry. That's right. The final surf.
Right.
Because that's an insane wave. But, the final surf is not him, and that is documented. But That's the only thing where it's like, but it is so cool. Everything, all the surfing shots are beautiful.
They
and
are.
And I think if you're a surfer, I'm not, but I think you would respect the cinematography and all the direction that went into this. And I think, and I think the skydiving too, it's just so beautifully done. These action sequences, or rather, they're action sequences, but they're not necessarily suspenseful. That the last skydiving one is, but it's just so beautifully done.
It makes you really understand the desire to do these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It gives you that
That's
rush.
a great note. Yeah, that's true.
It really does, especially in this particular
yeah,
movie.
it is a great note, Brian.
Yeah, it really is a great note. But it's true. It makes you feel that same kind of rush.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree, and when I saw this in the movie theater, I think it was that was maybe that's the balance of it. It's like it's this balance of here's this world, and there's this added element of suspense to the world, and it just brings you into these things that you probably have never done before, and it's shot so well, and you get it. You get why someone would want to do this.
definitely.
Yeah, but that when Johnny jumps out of the plane without a chute, I truly said, "Oh my God." And it was very exciting.
It was very exciting.
Keanu plays it well. It feels so real and,
It really
crazy.
feels because he's reached that point that at the beginning of the movie he wouldn't have done that, but he's done all of these high adrenaline.
Well, this is the guy. This is his guy.
And
he has to
get this guy, and he has to get the girl.
That's
Remember,
right.
they kidnapped the girl,
Yeah.
and that's the other aspect of it. If he didn't
Yeah.
get the guy, then the girl would probably be
Yeah.
dead. Obviously not, but
The guy, and I should have looked it up. The guy looked familiar. The one that was holding her captive.
I don't know who that was.
I have to look it up. But
They won an MTV award for most desirable male.
for who?
Who do you think?
I guess it would be Keanu because he's younger.
I thought it would be Swayze, but
that's the
I
middle
love him
age.
so much.
But that's our middle age lens, Christina.
Yes. Well, if it was today, I would be voting for Swayze. But yeah, it was for Keanu. It was funny. Most desirable male.
There is a interesting quote, and I don't know if this is the first time it's ever been uttered, but you know when people say "bra," like "Hey, bra,"
Hey, bra. Yeah.
Keanu says it in this movie.
Oh
He
my
says,
gosh.
"Lose something, bra," and that's what it is. It's
That's
BRAH.
so funny. I wonder if that's where it originated. Is from like California.
Yeah.
And
that
kind of
sounds.
made
It
it
feels
this
very
way.
California. But the fact that this was in '91, I hear it much more now than I ever heard.
Oh,
in
for
in
sure.
the '90s. Everything's like, "Hey, bra."
It used to be bro.
Yeah, that's right.
Bro is what I used to hear. So there's an interesting scene. So when Bodie first sees Johnny's surfboard,
Mm-hmm.
he says it reminds him of a 57 Chevy.
Mm-hmm.
And Swayze drove a 57 Chevy in Dirty Dancing.
Oh my God. Oh, my heart just skipped a beat.
I thought you would like that one. I thought you would like that one.
Quickly, the Australian cops. So now this was not shot in Australia. The scene. This scene was shot in Oregon. I'll tell you.
Was it supposed to be Australia?
Cannon Beach. Yeah, because that was the big wave. No, just the end. The very end.
The very end. Yeah.
That's supposed to be
I was
Australia.
thinking it was somewhere else.
And what we are led to believe is that he has perhaps maybe robbed a bank in Australia, which has funded this other excursion, perhaps.
Right.
Because the Australian cops are very interested in Patrick Swayze, and Johnny Utah has the Nixon mask, I believe. So that's when he says, "Lose something, bruh." But before that happens, the Australian cops show up, and I must read this line.
Oh boy.
As it was said with an Australian accent.
Oh, let's hear it then.
No way in hell were these Australian cops. Unless the Australian accent sounds like this. "We'll get him when he comes back in." But it's said so angrily and so loud. It's like, "We'll get him when he comes back in."
Oh,
it's like, no, that's not Australia. I don't know what planet
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what planet that is, Alf.
It's like orc.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
I said Alf. I said orc. Oh my God.
And then he just quits the FBI after he catches the guy. After all of that, he just throws the badge. Like, you want to keep the
That's
badge,
so
right?
irresponsible.
Super irresponsible. And one other note I have is, they say fuck 105 times in this movie.
Oh my God, really?
Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I counted. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. We should play a drinking game.
Oh my gosh.
So seriously. I will say, the only thing, well, you had most of the trivia. This movie was made for $24 million, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And if you think about it,
there's a lot of destruction.
Also just a lot of ocean and sky work. But it made $83 million. Mm-hmm. And Catherine Bigelow also made Blue Steel, and of course she made The Hurt Locker. Did you ever see Blue Steel? Jamie Lee Curtis?
No.
I really like that movie. I haven't seen it in so long. I think I liked it. I loved it then. The other almost Johnny Utahs were Johnny Depp and Charlie Sheen. Thank God they went with... I have to be honest with you. I'm glad they went with Keanu. I just feel like he feels...
I think so too. Although, I mean...
Well, Depp would have been interesting.
Depp, to me... I mean, I think he would have been interesting. I think he was a good actor back then. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been more challenging to have him not look like a surfer.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I mean... Yeah, Charlie Sheen probably not that good.
Nope. Keanu Reeves had never surfed before. Lori Petty had never seen the ocean before.
Oh my!
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Where was she from that she didn't see the ocean?
I don't know.
She the Midwest?
I don't know.
Must be.
And so is that everything? Is it question time?
I think it's question time.
I have one for you.
Okay, and I have one for you.
It's a true match game.
Okay.
Bodie really likes living on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I went to his birthday party. He had people bobbing for blank.
I got it.
So Bodie really likes living on the edge.
What am I going to write down?
He really does.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a match.
Okay.
It's been a while, I think, since we've matched.
And, I went to his birthday party, and it was crazy. He had people bobbing for blank. I mean, he's
so crazy.
He's really so crazy.
He's a crazy guy.
He lives on the edge.
That Bodie.
All right, ding.
He was bobbing for his party guests.
Yeah.
Hand grenades.
Damn it all to hell.
Damn it!
Between that, I almost wrote grenades, and I wrote razor blades.
Oh my gosh!
Because of the apple idea, like razor blades and apples, it's like, I don't know.
You know what's funny is razor blades came to mind.
Yeah.
But then I was like, what are they, just like floating in a thing of water?
I think razor blades, don't razor blades float?
But like, who's going to do that?
Because they live on the edge.
Hand grenades look like apples. All right, I have a question for you.
All right, let's hear it.
Hold on, I gotta look it up here. Once again, I was driving when I figured out this question.
This is very exciting.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this question.
Okay.
It's a little different than what we've done before. Okay, so I mentioned earlier we had 4 Patrick Swayze movies.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did Youngblood, Tu Wong Fu, Dirty Dancing, and, of course, Point Break. So, out of the 4 Patrick Swayze revisits, which movie did you feel the most different about as a midlife, while you're looking through a middle-aged lens?
Oh my gosh. All right. Dirty Dancing, Tu Wong Fu, Youngblood, and
Point Break.
That I felt most, that my opinion changed the most.
Yes,
I guess,
because of your middle-aged lens.
Okay. I have my answer.
All right, what do you think? Or what are you saying?
Oh, I'll just say it. Tu Wong Fu.
Really?
Yeah, what did you have?
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to say Youngblood.
Oh. Yeah, I could say that would have been my second choice. Yeah.
Because you're kind of looking at him a little differently. Explain Tu Wong Fu.
Well, I think because
that was my last choice.
Here's why. Because when I saw Tu Wong Fu the first time, I was seeing it as like I, am like gay. I have these feelings, and here's a movie that is mainstream that is going to have some gay characters in it, and it didn't check off the boxes I wanted it to check off. It was more about like drag and these drag queens helping people with other problems, and it wasn't so much about being gay. Okay, but since all of that, there's been so many gay movies and gay characters and everything else that now I can just watch Tu Wong Fu as it was intended, which is a story about 3 drag queens that help a small town. And so I could watch it with a little less expectation and appreciate it more. And Patrick Swayze's performance, I think, is deeper than I think I maybe gave it credit for the first time around.
That's great. That's that's very insightful. But I love revisits like that.
Listen, I'm going to be sad when we run out of Patrick Swayze movies.
We're not going to run out anytime soon.
He didn't make that many.
Stop it.
I'm
You're going to make me
We're
cry.
gonna
This is my guy.
I know, I'm afraid too.
We haven't done Ghost yet. Ghost will be a good one.
Ghost is me good.
All right. So I guess that's it for Point Break.
And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.